Hey everybody, Steph here. Headed to the mountains very soon in order to do some hiking. That's strictly all this trip is. Billy is going to be at home. He's got to work. So I am going up with a friend and we are going to be working on a few miles to knock a few miles off of our 900 miler maps. So we're planning on going from Newfound Gap to basically Davenport Gap. You cannot park a car at Davenport Gap trailhead. So we're going to park at a ranger station. So instead of going the last, I think it's like 1.9 miles on the AT to Davenport, we will cut down on another trail. And I think it's like 2.1 down on that trail to the ranger station so that the vehicle is safe. My car will be basically at Newfound Gap. I'm going to be out there roughly 3 days, 2 nights. So something in the Smokies, when you're hiking and backpacking in the Smokies, you have to have a reservation. Whether you're doing backcountry camping at just a campsite or if you're on the AT and you're hitting some of the shelters. So you have to have a reservation. And something unique with the shelters and doing something other than a through hike is you have to stay in the shelter. There is no dispersed camping at the shelters themselves unless you are a true through hiker, which means that you're starting in their specifications at least 50 miles prior to hitting the Smoky Mountains National Park, and then going through the park, and then another 50 miles after that is where you're considered a through hiker. So with that being said, you have to have a reservation. If you're through hiking, you get a permit and you can stay basically at any shelter. You don't have to reserve specific ones. So if you want to hike on past, the first one and go to the second one, you can do that without specific reservations. If you're doing like what we're doing, you have got to reserve specific shelters. So planning it out, you kind of have to plan it out and go, well, no matter what, I have to get to Peck's Corner. So that's what we've done. We've kind of planned it out. We're going to go from Newfound Gap to Peck's Corner the first night, and then head from Peck's Corner to Cosby Knob. We'll get up, hopefully, knock on wood, we'll get up early enough to do a little bit of night hiking up to Mount Camomor to catch a sunrise. That's my bucket list. So hopefully I'll be able to check that bucket list item off as well. Hopefully the weather will cooperate and I'll be able to pull myself out of my sleeping bag early enough to do I think it's about 2.6 or 7 miles from Cosby Knob up to Mount Camomor. So about an hour in the dark to get up there. I will be up there for a few additional days after this hike is over. So I'm going to probably try to knock off maybe 1 or 2 other little hikes, depending on how I feel after the 30-ish miles. When you don't get to hike every single day, every single weekend, that might be a little much. It is going to be a little bit of elevation, lots of ups and downs on the trail that we're going to do. So, but if the weather holds out and the weather is nice, we should be able to have some amazing views while we're on the trail. So let's talk a little bit about what I'm going to take. When I said that you cannot just do like dispersed camping. With that being said, we have to stay in specific shelters. So I will not be taking my tent on the actual backpacking trip. It's going to be in the car. So when we're done, if I want to go someplace else and just camp out, I can. But when I'm actually doing the hike on the AT, I will not be carrying my tent so that I can stay in the shelter and not have the additional weight that the tent's going to carry. So here's what I am bringing. The backpack that I'm going to be using is my Arc Air by Z-Packs. I'm still not sure if I'm in love with the backpack yet. This trip is going to tell me a lot. I have been eyeing a couple of other backpacks. So this trip will really kind of tell me if it's something I'm really just going to love or hate and decide to not use it anymore. So at night in the shelters, what we're going to do is, what I'm going to do, I do have my footprint that I'm going to carry with me just to lay on the shelter, the platform itself. It is going to be, you know, it's a wooden platform, so don't want to take a risk of popping my pad. So I will be laying this down first, and then I have my Nemo Tensor regular wide. It's not the long version. I'm a little bitty short girl, so I don't need the long version, but I do tend to roll a lot when I sleep, so I'll get the wide version so that I can roll without coming off the pad. In order to inflate my pad, I am going to bring my Flex Tail Gear Inflator. So I'll be able to inflate the pad fairly quickly without having to waste the breath that I've already short on after doing all of the ups and downs of the day. I will have my X-Ped pillow. For a while, I was not in love with the pillow, but I have, over the last couple times that I've used it, I've played with it a little bit. It's an inflatable pillow, so you don't have to put, you know, a ton of air. You can kind of just match it to what your comfort level is. So I can deflate it just a little bit and just have that little bit of play that I like in my pillow. So I've learned to kind of really like that X-Ped pillow, so it is great. I am taking my Nemo Forte sleeping bag. It is a spoon-shaped bag. It is not a mummy bag. I don't like my feet to be constricted, so I have a spoon-shaped bag. I'm hopefully going to be going to a different sleep system soon, but that is what I have for right now. And it's a good sleeping bag. It's just not it's not what I want at this time. I am taking my sleeping bag liner to add a little bit of warmth. That's a 35-degree bag. A sleeping bag liner can add anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees of warmth to your sleeping bag. And looking at the weather, it's going to be low 30s in the shelters at night, or at the shelters at night. There is a great website, atweather.org, that you can pick any of the shelters on the Appalachian Trail, and it will give you current weather conditions. So I've been kind of looking at that, trying to see the trends. So the weather is fairly cool at night. So with that being said, I am a cold sleeper. I will have my Outdoor Vitals booties to keep me warm. I am taking my boggin to keep me warm. As far as what I'm going to sleep in, I just have a pair of darn tough socks, and I have some warm base layers that I'll be sleeping in to keep me warm. And I am taking some hot hands. I'm not taking this whole pack. It just happened. I just haven't opened it yet. But I am going to take a few of those so that I can throw, you know, maybe 1 or 2 in my sleeping bag to help kind of keep me warm, get me warm enough to fall asleep. And I do have a gaiter to put over my face if it gets that cold. So I'm confident that I am going to be nice and toasty in the shelter at night when we get there and are ready to settle in. All right, so let's talk about some of the other stuff that I'm going to be taking. For battery backup power, I am going to be taking the battery bank. It is big, it is heavy, but I also don't want to take a chance of my phone dying, anything like that. So I want to make sure that I am covered on being able to charge my phone multiple times. And this particular power bank will charge it more times than I'm going to need to charge the whole trip that I'm up there. So I'm covered there. Next is my spot. This is my locator. I don't have my Garmin InReach Mini yet. I will be getting it soon, but for now I do have a spot. So Billy can track me, know where I am. If I get hurt, my hiking partner gets hurt. If we're in any kind of trouble, I do have a way to get some help if necessary. My water filter that I'll be taking with me is the Catadine Be Free. This is just the 1 liter bottle. I'm going to get a bigger bag at some point, but this will be fine. I have been checking water conditions. It's been fairly dry the last couple of months, but this week we have had rain. They've had rain up there. So, and the shelters that we're staying at have had fairly decent water, even though it's been a little bit drier. So I'll have my water filter to get my water. And then, of course, I'll be carrying a couple of the smart water bottles to drink through the day, etc., etc. So I'll also be wearing my headlamp at night around the shelter. Just put fresh batteries in it. So I don't have a rechargeable yet. I will be getting one of those, but that's what I've got, so that's what I'm using. As far as just regular hiking clothes during the day, I've got my little toe socks to help prevent blisters between my toes, and then Darn Tough socks to go over top. Just a nice long sleeve wicking shirt. I've got some pants that are not, I don't really think they're really hiking pants, but they're really comfortable when I'm hiking. They keep me decently warm. And that's, I think, what I'm going to need. It's not supposed to get super warm during the day, and I'm going to, you know, higher elevations, a little bit cooler. And I tend to run cold anyway, so try to stay warm. I've got a rain jacket because you never know when it's going to rain in the Smokies. It rains somewhere in the Smokies every single day, so I don't want it to be on me. And if it happens to be, then I will at least stay partially dry. Just in case it snaps cold, something like that, I do have my gloves. And then, you know, I'm sleeping in the boggin, but I do have a little hat that will keep me warm during the day too, if I want to use it. As far as hygiene, that kind of thing, I have some little medicines. I have some Aleve in case I start to get sore. I have some Tums because I do get heartburn no matter what I eat or what I'm doing. I've got some chapstick, and I found this neat little comb just so I don't have to bring my big bulky comb. This super, I don't know, it was really cool. It was $1. Some hand sanitizer, and I got my little poop kit. So I got my trowel and some toilet paper. And I know this is not a, popular, it seems like it's not a popular decision, but a lot of women carry cooler cloths. I can't do it. Nobody can convince me that it is not unsanitary. I'm sorry. I'm sure you disinfect it, whatever, but you cannot convince me of that. I'm using toilet paper. Don't care. So with that being said, let's talk about the last thing that is on everybody's mind, and is, Stephanie, however are you going to eat, and what will you be eating? I'm glad you asked. So let's talk first about my stove. Here is the fuel canister that I'll be using. My pot is just a Sea to Summit. It's actually Billy's. His is a lot lighter than mine, so I'm taking his. His does have like a little lid, and the cool thing with his lid is if I wanted to drain water, if I was cooking something in it and I needed to drain the water, I could right here with the pot. But I think with everything that I'm doing this trip, it is simply going to be boiling water. So in my pot, I've got a little towel I can just wipe things out with. And here is my stove. It is the MSR Pocket Rocket. And I've got my lighter. So everything just kind of fits down in there. You wrap it up in the towel so it doesn't bang around when you're hiking, and you don't hear that constantly when you're hiking. So everything fits in there nice, neat, and together. I've got, this is a homemade little koozie. I saw I can't remember who I saw had it. Everybody has them now, I think. But all you basically do is you put your food down in here after you pour your water in it. You can close it up, set it to the side, and it just kind of keeps everything warm in there, and it helps it rehydrate just a little bit faster. And right now, for video purposes, I have a silicone spoon. Tomorrow, I will have a spork. You can't, I think it's just going to be too hard to eat ramen with a spoon. And I need a spork. So, there, it's that. So, as far as food is concerned, my breakfast is going to be grits, just instant grits. I like the cheddar cheese flavor. I'm going to repackage these into freezer bags, so that I can cook it in the bag and I don't have to mess up my pot, anything like that. And, you know, it's its own little garbage bag when you're done eating. I do have some dehydrated butter that I'm going to add in with it. And I'll probably add some bacon bits just to have a little bit of extra something in there. For snacks throughout the day, I'll have some just like peanut butter crackers, cheese crackers, these Nature Valley wafer bars. These are really, really good. This is the peanut butter chocolate flavor. So it's a wafer bar. It has chocolate on top and then peanuts on top. Some pretzels and some little Laughing Cow cheese, which I just love those. Those are really good. You don't have to keep them cold, so it's nice to be able just to throw them in. Hopefully they won't get too squished. I didn't think about that until right now, so I may squish all my cheese out. I don't know. I guess I'll find out when I stop to eat. I do have trail mix. This trail mix is almonds, pecans, dark chocolate, and cashews. I really need to sit down and pull all the cashews out because I don't like cashews. I've got drink mixes. These are Gator Light Rapid Rehydration in the cherry lime flavor. These are really good, and they also help with rehydration. It's fairly, you know, it's like a liquid IV, Element, those kind of things. I just kind of like the Gatorade version. The flavor is really, really good. So for lunches, I'm going to do, again, I'm going to repackage a lot of this. So I have tortillas, and one day I'll do pepperoni and cheese. Make like a little pizza roll up. Another day I'll do peanut butter and jelly. So I had one that was double this size and it was Jif. But today when I was out shopping, I saw the smaller size and the Skippy. And Skippy peanut butter is good and it's half the weight. And I don't need that great big thing of Jif that I had. So this will be perfect. The only thing I have to get to go along with that is some grape jelly packets from the local fast food joint. That I'll eat at this weekend anyway, so I'll grab a couple of peanut butter, or excuse me, a couple of jelly packets. And this is crazy, I know, but I'm bringing Pringles. I'm bringing Pringles. So, I just like Pringles, and I want to eat something with my peanut butter and jelly wrap. For dinner, I've got a couple of different dinners. I'm going to be doing ramen. And this is instant mashed potatoes with some bacon in it. So, you know, we're only really going to be out 2 nights, but I have an extra one just in case. I want a hot lunch or something like that. I have that. And I also have some Star-Kissed chicken. I'm not a tuna fan. Don't like it. Never have. Can't stand the smell of it, taste of it, texture of it. It just totally grosses me out any way you do it. So I will not do any kind of tuna, but this chicken is really good. And this is the kind that doesn't have very much liquid in it. Some of the packets have a lot of liquid and you have all that chicken liquid. I don't know what else to call it. This one does not. So it is straight chicken, and I'll throw that into, you know, maybe one or both of the meals just for a little bit of extra protein. So That's what I'm taking with me. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to package everything up and put it in the backpack, and I'm going to tell you what the weight is that I'm carrying. I'll do it with food and without, because your food fluctuates, and anything that will fluctuate, I will leave out, and I will give you my base weight. So your base weight is the weight of your pack without all the things that will vary. So you don't count your water, you don't count your food, you really don't count your fuel, because as you use it, it gets lighter. So things like that I'll leave out for the base weight, and then I'll give you a weight with all the other stuff in it as well. Okay, so I have the pack completely packed, minus the food. This is my food bag right here. So this should be my base weight. $15.2 pounds. So 15.2 pounds is my base weight. I definitely need to figure out a way to lighten that up at some point, because that's not even with my tent. So I'll look into that one. Now let's look at my food bag weight. All right, 4 pounds. So that might be a little heavy, but you estimate roughly a pound per day for food. So that's not terrible. I mean, I put a little bit of extra in there just in case. You never know what's going to happen. So I could have cut that down by a little bit, but it wouldn't have, it probably wouldn't have made a significant difference. So, both of them together, you know, roughly 19 pounds. I'm not disappointed with that. So we'll see how the Arc Air carries with the weight. The food bag will go in the top of the pack, and we'll be ready to hit the trail. So look for some videos coming out about the hike that I'm about to do, and any subsequent hikes while I'm up there. And I hope until you see those videos come out, you get out there and live your great story.